All right, just writing down one more thing here. Okay, here we go. Yes, it's all working. All right. And you know what? For those of you who were here last month, you know, I forgot this. Got it this month. I know that was really dramatic when I had to run back to the office, all the way back over there to grab my notebook. But you know what I've done? I've improved because this is about continuous improvement. And how do we improve? How do we do those things? How do we keep getting better? You know, there's several ways of doing it. There's nowadays, I mean, with the knowledge base that is available on the internet. But step one, to having an attitude of continuous improvement, you know what that is? Growth mindset. That's one way of putting it. You know another way of putting it, more bluntly and simply? You don't know it all. And if you think you do, you got a real problem. You ain't watching this video because if you think you know it all, you ain't watching this. So guess what? Don't have to worry about those people because if you're watching this, if you're part of this, if you've done anything to improve yourself, then you don't think you know it all. And you already have an idea, an attitude of continuous improvement, which is also a key element of being a great leader. Leaders always want to be better leaders. And in order to be a better leader, you got to be a better person. So you have to continuously work on yourself. If you want to lead others and become a great leader, then you got to work on yourself. You got to improve. You got to work on it each and every day. That is what continuous improvement is about. And I did a little math before I started this, before I hit go on this, and that's what I was just catching on up here. I want you to think about these numbers right here. 0.1% a day equals 45% improvement in a year. So let me break that down just in case you ain't following me. 0.1% improvement per day equals a 45% improvement in the year. Now let's take this, put it into practicality, because math is great. But if you don't understand how to apply it, it doesn't do you any good, right? It's just a bunch of stuff up on the board. Believe me, I learned that. So 0.1% in a day. Now, I'm stepping into some dangerous territory because I'm doing some public math here. But 0.1% in a day, what does that equal? Well, if you do 100 things in a day, 1% of your day is one of those things. So that equals one thing, right? Nobody told you there was going to be math today, did they? So that equals 1%. That's one thing. One thing equals 1%. Guess what 0.1% is? That's only 1/10 of one thing. That's like if it takes 10 steps to make your breakfast, you do one of those steps better today than you did yesterday. That's how easy it is to be in an attitude of continuous improvement and achieve, goodness gracious, 45% in a year. That's nearly 50%. 50% better. Wow. 50% better person. I don't know about you, but I'm all for being a 50% better person in a year. So that's why it's important. And that's why it's also not that hard. But you do have to put some work in. And what does that work? You have to do a few things. You can't just willy-nilly this. You can't just say, well, I want to improve, so I'm going to read a book. I'm going to not have 3 beers tonight, only have 2, or whatever that is. That's great, but what does that lead you to? That's the question you have to start asking yourself is, what does that lead you to? What do you really want to achieve? In order to truly improve continuously, you have to do it intentionally. And in order to do it intentionally, you have to know what you want to improve on. What are those 100 things that you do in a day? What is that one thing that you're going to work on to get 1.1% better today? Think about that. What is it? Where do you want to go? Who do you want to be? How do you want to get there? What's it like? What's your vision? What's that goal? You know, the simplest thing that everybody can understand and I think relate to is weight loss. Right? So if I'm 210 and I want to be 205, that's 5 pounds, right? There's a measure. There's a measure I can do. And I can do actions 1/10 of an action and improve it. Maybe I don't eat some chips with lunch. Maybe I cut back on the chips. Maybe I only eat half a sandwich. Maybe all these are little things that help create that 0.1%. But dropping 5 pounds is not necessarily going to get me there. Because why do I drop those 5 pounds? What happens when I'm at 5% or at 205 instead of 210? There's the why. The why, just like your purpose, just like that big P word right there on my hat, your purpose, your why is what's fueling you to achieve that 205. So what do you get when you lose those 5 pounds? What's it like? What's the why that's pulling you to it? These are the things you have to understand. You can't just go and randomly go on to Amazon or your library or whatever and just grab books off the shelf and read books and improve. Yeah, okay, you can learn something that way, right? But are you learning things to get to know what you want to be, who you want to be, to achieve what you want? That's the differentiator. That's what real leaders do. They improve, but they improve with intention. They don't just grab a book off the shelf, and let's read this one today. Let's read this one today. They read it because they seek improvement, seek knowledge that will help them get better. That's what we should all do in an area. In rugby, and I know at University of Arizona, they still call it this. We call them WOWOs. What are those things? Now I can't even remember why we call them WOWOs. Camden, if you're watching, put it in the chat. Why did we call them WOWOs? I don't remember. But those are those things that I need to work on. My weak points. The things I need to improve on because I've identified them as a fault that I want to work on. Yeah, I love telling this story that I learned Arnold Schwarzenegger in Pumping Iron. I remember as a kid, man, I was like, dang, I'm going to drink the protein, the weight gain, be big like Arnold. And he tells this story about how he had puny calves. And I always love that because that's like my one thing that I can imitate with Arnold, his puny calves. And what he did to help himself. Now, think about this. We're talking Arnold Schwarzenegger, Mr. Universe, Predator, all these things. This massive man, but he had puny calves. And in order to work on his puny calves, he focused on them. And the way he focused on them was when he would go to the gym, Gold's Gym, Muscle Beach, he would wear big, probably like a quadruple X sweatshirt, sweatpants, and then he'd cut the sweatpants off at the knees so he could see the problem set he was focused on, so he could be intentional in his improvement. And that enabled him to fix what he saw as his weakness, as his weak point. That is being intentional with your improvement, with your goals and where you want to go. Everybody I know wants to improve. Really. In the end, everybody does. The question is, what are you doing to improve? What are the action steps? What's the plan? Are you, well, hey, Otis, I read books. Hey, Otis, I watch a podcast, listen to a podcast, I attend YouTube University, or maybe podcast junior college. Yeah, those are great. But to what end? Are they entertainment that maybe you get a little development out of? Or are you watching certain things so that you can get better at what you do? Have you identified areas in your life, relationships, physical, mental, business, sales, operations, whatever category? Have you identified those? And what in those do you need to work on? What in those need to be improved? And when you identify those, like, hey, I need to do a better job at following up with clients. Okay, so what does that take? Well, it takes identification. Number one, I identify that, hey, I need to do that. How do I identify that? Let's take a step back and talk about that. We got to reflect on it. You know, a great habit that I hope you follow is, at the end of the day, what are 3 wins or successes for the day? And what are 3 things that you learned or want to improve on? Reflect on it. You don't have to wait to the end of the day. You could hang up. You could do a client call. Hang up. Make a couple of notes. Reflect on that. How did that go? Did it go the way I wanted it to? Did we accomplish what I was trying to guide my client to achieve? Did the client feel satisfied? All these sort of things are measures. Because if you don't know how to measure something, how will you know if you've done something different? It's randomized. It's the old shotgun spray and pray. I don't know if you've ever been out duck hunting, but I can remember as a kid, first time I went duck hunting, that was how I hunted ducks. I sprayed and prayed. That flock of ducks come over, and I'd grab my shotgun and I'd take it off safety and I'd swing it up to my shoulder and boom, just shoot up in the air at that big flock of ducks. You know how many I knocked down? Well, there's a lot of BBs in that number 6 shot. 0. And you know why? Because I didn't aim at anything. And if you're just grabbing books off the shelf, you're just listening to podcasts, taking a course, going to a conference, self-improvement. What are you doing? Are you doing it with a justification and a reason to get better at something? That's what you have to start thinking about. If you really want to have an attitude of continuous improvement, then you got to know what you're going to improve. Right? When we know what we're going to improve, we have to know, how do I measure my improvement? Back to the scale. Boy, that's the easiest thing, right? I can see that, whoops, I'm no longer 210, I'm 211. What did I do yesterday? Okay, I can reflect on that. There's a lot more other things that we can do in that. And if you ever want to talk about what those other things in a getting healthy and weight loss, I'm no expert on it, but I do it a lot. If you want to learn about that, give me a shout. But that's not what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about how to improve. So now I see that I took a step back. So what do? Well, I got to do something today to give me that 0.1% improvement. Because yesterday in that area, I didn't get my 0.1%. Maybe I got a negative 1%. So now I got to do a little bit of extra. I'm measuring and I'm adjusting my activities and my actions so that I can improve. Because I know what I want to achieve. I'm measuring it each time I go through it. So continuous improvement takes that time, takes a little bit of effort to understand what you're doing. Are you making progress or are you digressing? Those sort of things is what it's going to take for you to get better. I mean, 0.1% isn't very much, but how do you know you've ever got 0.1% or 1% or 20% improvement if you don't have a means to measure? Now, question came up in our mastermind last night that I want to share with you. I think this is a great question. Thanks, Phil, for asking this. And enjoy the heck out of that Special Forces Association cruise that you're going on tomorrow. What do I do when I get there, Otis? What do I do when I get to the top of the mountain? You know what's great? Here on Earth, there is a finite number of mountains. Finite. You can climb the seven highest peaks or the highest peak on each continent and all these sort of things. Or you can climb anything that you define as a mountain or a peak. You can do that. There's a finite number. But guess what? In life, there is an infinite number of peaks to climb. That means when you hit the top, when you're like, man, that was freaking awesome. That is the best thing. Celebrate. Notice what I'm doing? Celebrate. Celebrate and recognize because I've measured my progress and I've identified that objective, that goal, that outcome, that end state. And I said, boom, got it. Yes. That's freaking awesome. Pat myself on the back, celebrate. However you want to celebrate. Maybe a beer, whiskey, cigar. Maybe just pat yourself on the back and say, damn, I'm proud of you, Otis. That's all you got to do. But celebrate. But you know what else is happening at the same time? Because you are improving and you're getting better. That mountain that you just conquered leads you to the next one. And when you get to that one, it leads you to the next one. In life, the mountaintops are infinite. You can always do better. We never achieve perfection. We never conquer all the mountaintops in life. We win, we have successes, and we should celebrate those. But there's another mountaintop. When you get there and you say, man, this is awesome. And you look and you go, now that's what I want to do. That's powerful. That's how you continue to improve. There is no end state to improvement. It's continuous. That's why it's called continuous improvement. You should always be learning, always be improving. It doesn't end. It doesn't stop. Nor should you ever want it to. Because you know what? What you may find when you get to this mountaintop is that, wow, that path, that business was awesome, but now I want to go do this. And I want to grow in that area. I want to set those goals and objectives. I want to crush it in this area. That's what happens when you get to the mountaintop. When you win and you achieve it, you get to do something else. You get to continue to improve. Heck, it may be set that goal, that mountaintop, that your business is now a $10 million a year revenue. And you're like, man, that was awesome. And you never thought you'd get there when you started at $0 in the bank and you grew it all the way up to that point. And all the time, as you're growing, you're thinking, man, I just got to get to 10 mil. We get to 10 mil, we're going to do this. We get to 10 mil, we're going to do this. I'm going to sell the business. I'm going to quit. I'm going to do that. And you get there and you go like, okay, what's 20 mil like? I want to take that challenge. Hell, screw 20 mil. What's 100 mil? I want to 10x my team. I want to 10x my business. I want to go from 10 mil to 100 mil. That's what we're talking about in continuous improvement. And then what does it take? What are the micro steps that I need to do to get to 1% where I'm having 45% improvement each year? Now, I'll do a little bit more math for you. You know, our podcast is called 10X Your Team. So what does 10X mean? Well, I mean, simple math, it's going from 10, where'd my pen go, pardon me, right? So if I'm at 10 mil, to get to 100 mil, 10 times 100, or 10 times 10, is, come on folks, elementary math, 100 mil, right? So how do you get there? It's math. It's really simple. It's really simple. If you take this 45% per year at 0.1% a day, and you double that, and you make this, we don't even need to make it 90%. We're going to lower it. That's not even truly double. We're going to lower it to 85% per year improvement. Do you know that 85% per year improvement times 5 years? Somebody check my math for me. Equals, guess what? 10%, 10 times improvement. So if I'm a $10 million a year business, in order to become a $100 million a year business in 5 years, that's what I need to do. 85% per year, compounded yearly, annually. Seems like, oh my God, Otis. Yes. Believe me, if I had an IRA mutual fund that I can invest in that did that, I'd be doing that. But you know what? You do. Your business. Invest in your business to achieve that. Because it doesn't take that freaking much to get there. It's math. Do the math, figure it out. How much do you need to do each and every day to make your business better? How much growth? How much effort? What are those things that you control, that you can do to make your business better? To grow your business in 5 years from a $10 million revenue to $100 million. Seems crazy to think 85% growth, but it's not. It's doable, it's achievable. So where does all this stuff come from? How do you do it? Holy crap. Well, a lot of places. Go to the library. Books for free. Get you a library card. Set your plan. What do I want to do? What do I need to focus on in my business to achieve a 0.1% improvement? Let's jump that. We'll say 0.5% improvement each and every day. 0.5% each and every day. What do I need to study? What do I need to read? How do I need to take what I read, the knowledge I gain, implement it into my business so that I'm growing and improving myself and my business so that I can reach 85% in 1 year and compound it each year for 5 years. It's a library, doesn't cost you anything. I'll tell you something else, doesn't cost you anything. YouTube. And you know who else is on YouTube? Us. 10X Your Team. 10X Your Team with Cam and Otis. If you're not subscribed to our YouTube channel, please do that right now. Watch us on YouTube. Watch this live on YouTube. Subscribe to our channel. Watch our podcast. The guests we have are, holy crap, I continue to be amazed at our guests and what I learn from them. Keeps me going. That's why we keep doing it, because man, the amount of information we learn doesn't cost you anything. You also get some philosophy from Whiskey Words. There's the cuckoo. But it's in the end, it doesn't cost you anything. If you focus your time and you live intentionally to achieve that improvement, you can improve. If you want to take the next step, there's tools, there's processes, there's coaches, there's mentors. We have a leadership development system. Because you know what else you have to do in order to do this? In order to make it, to achieve 85% annual growth, you got to lead. You got to step in front and lead. Teach, mentor, and guide your team to improve. Lead your team. Create a team of leaders. And that's what our program, the Leadership Development System, does with the Green Beret Leadership Program. When you go to 10xyourteam.net, scroll down a little bit, click on the Leadership Development System, the system. This is a done with you program that we will walk through with you and develop you and your team into leaders, into great leaders. Because what we do is we help you implement the lessons. It's not just watch this, read that, now go do it. Best of luck. Thank you for the money. No. We are right there with you, solving the problems, helping you take the lessons that you learn going through the program and apply them to the problem sets you're dealing with in your life and your business. That's what the Leadership Development System does. And if you want to jump your business to the next level, then we've got our done for you, which is our fractional COO. What a fractional COO does is he comes in to your business, does an audit of your business, analyzes your culture, your team organization, your processes, your systems, your capabilities, and then helps you adjust those. In the meantime, Mr. CEO founder or Ms. CEO founder, whichever you may be, that fractional COO is offloading the day-to-day ops burden off of you so that you can get back to what you are supposed to be doing for the team, which is lead, set the vision, sell, grow the company. So if you've hit a plateau in your business, feel like all of a sudden I'm spending all my time getting the day-to-day stuff done and I can't get out and sell the business, then call us about a fractional COO. Leadership is the number one thing that will make you successful, leading yourself and leading your team. It's also the first thing that will cause your business to fail because you will drive away your talent and your people that stick around They're going to do only what they have to do. They have no desire or drive. They're just sucking oxygen and collecting a paycheck and getting done only the bare minimum. But when you lead and you set the vision and you have an attitude of continuous improvement for yourself, your team, your business, then they will perform. They will be bought in and they will be excited. They won't dread it. They'll want to get there because they want to come in. They want to be part of something that is successful. Everybody loves to win. And they're going to put forth the effort. So, as I'm wrapping this up, go to 10xyourteam.net. Schedule a call. It's right below there. It actually said, the button says schedule call. Pretty simple. I like to keep things simple. If you want to learn more about the programs, scroll down. If you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, 10x your team or 10x your team with Cam and Otis, just go to YouTube, type in 10x your team. We'll pop up. You'll see us. A little cartoon picture of us. Subscribe. Start learning. Start improving. Now, next month, 21 November, Thursday. It's the Thursday before Thanksgiving, if you're doing the math. So Thursday before Thanksgiving, 21 November, this same time, I'm going to be right here in the Tribe and Purpose studio talking about how to share knowledge. Because you know what? If you're improving, you're gaining knowledge. Well, if I'm gaining all this knowledge, it does me no good to hold on to it all. I'm going to share it. So we're going to talk about that next month. Hey, I just want to say thank you to everybody who joined us today. And if you joined us today, let us know in the comments. If you're watching this as a replay, let us know in the comments what you think. What are you working on? What are your woes that you need to improve on each and every day? Thanks, and we'll see y'all next month on the 21st.